JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 20th of October 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of the charts that I looked at yesterday just to see how everything's getting along. But as always guys, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which you can find here if you click on the research tab right there on the top after you've entered jfdbank.com, and that, yep, it will take you to this page, which we update on a daily basis. So yep, I believe you can find something useful here for yourself, so feel free to visit us on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the charts now, I do have a few indices that I wanted to go through just to see kind of what's happening there, as I haven't looked at those for quite a while. But of course Nikkei is not the one. I mean, Nikkei is the one that I looked at recently, but basically today Nikkei traded in the red, slightly in the red. However, on the positive note, it still remains within this pattern that I talked about yesterday and last week as well, where I was saying that this could be here a potential rising wedge pattern. Now, of course, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside. However, until we get that break through the lower side of this pattern, we cannot really talk about the downside, because what could happen here, it could potentially move sideways here a little bit within this pattern. And to be honest, these patterns, it's not always that they break to the downside. It's just the percentage wise, it's a little bit, it's a bit of a higher percentage that it breaks out to the downside. Still, there is a chance for this one to move higher too. So that's why don't kind of blindly follow what's written in the book. Just keep that in your head. Yeah, for now guys, keep your eyes on this. If it drops through the lower side of this rising wedge, then it increases the chances for a potential further move lower. So, but again, at the moment, it could continue moving higher slowly, of course. But what's interesting here is that as I mentioned yesterday, that this 23,725-26 territory continues to provide decent resistance, and in a way, that's the barrier that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, because a nice good pop above it, yes, would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and higher levels could be met. But because of this upper bound of the upper side of the rising wedge, we'll be very careful, and that's why I would prefer to see maybe a break of this upper side of the wedge first, before kind of, let's say, getting a little bit more excited with the upside. So jumping into Hang Seng, Hong Kong's Hang Seng, here the index, yes, after it broke this short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of August, it continues now to drift higher towards its other short-term, well, actually more of a medium-term downside resistance lines, also a tentative one, but of course that's the target for now. I'll keep an eye on it, because it could be quite interesting to see if it actually can break above this or not. But again, again, that's why let's keep it short and simple. You could also keep your eyes on now newly formed upside support line, also a bit of a tentative one. If that gets broken, maybe the index actually is not ready to move higher, especially if the price falls below the low of the 15th of October here near the 24,100 zone. So a nice good drop below it may lead to some lower areas, but at the moment, guys, as long as we remain above this upside line, still there is a good chance we could see a test of this medium-term downside line. Now jumping into CAC 40, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and here basically just wanted to show you that the index remains within kind of the range, I would say, even so, or even a slightly tilted channel, maybe a slightly tilted channel to the downside. So basically, if I draw this downside line right here connecting the tops, so you can see that yes, there is a slight tilt. Yep, I need to remove this arrow. As you can see, this is the last time I looked at it, probably, so that was around May time. So you can see that the index kind of is oscillating nicely around this the high of the 10th of March near the 4,925 zone. But to be honest, I'll get rid of it now. It's no longer valid now. What I'm going to look at here are some of these key support and resistance levels. Now also, if we draw a potential channel here connecting these two lows, you can see that we're kind of missing here a little bit. So in a way, what that means is that we could be seeing here an opposite of what we saw in Nikkei as a rising wedge. So here we could be actually seeing a falling wedge, which means that there could be a possibility of this one breaking to the upside. So again, that's for now just an idea. Let's see if this is not actually going to result in a potential kind of descending triangle. So that's why you see, guys, it's very close here. It's a bit of a tricky one, so probably it's easier right now to kind of go from key support and resistance levels. Now, if you want to look at some downside in the short run, let's say for example, then wait for a drop below the low of the 15th of October here, which is near the 4,808 zone. A nice good drop below it may increase the chances for CAC 40 to drift towards this low, the low of the 2nd of October, or actually the lowest point, the current lowest point of October, near the 4,757, a break of which could, clear the path towards, I'm just recycling some of these lines here, so, and clear the path towards the lowest point of September near the 4,666 mark. So, but again, that's in terms of the downside. For now, the downside seems to be slightly off the table in the short run. What I'm looking at here right now, of course, is this barrier, this current highest point of October near the 4,998 zone. So again, keep your eyes on that one, and we'll see if we can get a nice pop above it. If we do, then aim for this downside line, which is drawn, which captures the peaks here and is drawn from the high of the 8th of June, guys. And of course, if that gets broken, now this is where it could get a little bit more exciting for more buyers. Now, IBEX 35, so the Spanish index, also is on a slight tilt here to the downside, and let me just grab this line, also drawing it from the high of the 8th of June. You can see nicely how this is drifting lower. Now if we can actually see if this one is actually forming a channel, no, unfortunately that's not also forming a channel. It also is forming a falling wedge pattern, so which is right here, so roughly around like this. Basically, of course, again, as I'll repeat myself, according to all the TA rules, these tend to break to the upside. But given this current situation, first, of course, we need to see a violation of this upper side of the falling wedge. And then, of course, just to kind of strengthen the upside scenario, a push above the current highest point of October near the 7,024 territory here would be ideal. And then of course this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could be joining in and potentially driving this one towards the this area right here, the 7,318 mark, which is the highest point of August. So for now, like I said, there's a lot of waiting, to be honest, to be done. So if we can say it this way, waiting to be done. So I mean, you're probably not going to do anything here, but in terms of the downside, yes, a drop below the 6,763 territory right here, marked by the low of last week, would be maybe ideal, I would say, in the short run. And then we could start aiming for these, for example, the lowest point of September near the 6,552 territory, or even below that. But again, at least a breakthrough one of these levels here is required in order to consider the next short-term directional move. German DAX quick update, also traded in the red yesterday. Looking at the cash index and where it's currently balancing at, we can see a bit of a decline. 12,779 territory, that's where it's currently sitting at, so slightly below that yesterday's close. And basically what I was talking about yesterday, and I keep talking about this, guys, all the time, so that wait for that confirmation break. And yesterday I mentioned that if we get a pop above this 13,000 territory and we see the price staying above it, then yes, we could start maybe looking at some higher levels. But we got a false breakout and it drifted back down, sold off heavily, you can see here, and kind of ended the day near this 12,842 mark. I've talked about this one as well. So in a way, for now, to be honest, everything's not really looking good here for the German index. And if it continues to slide below this area, below this 12,727 zone, then yes, we could consider a bit of a further correction towards the lower bound of the rising channel, because don't forget that overall we're still within a rising channel, so the bulls probably should not be disappointed too much yet, because again, if this lower side of the rising channel holds, then yes, a nice good rebound here could be possible. But at the moment it's not the case. The moment we are keeping an eye on this on some of these levels here, and one of those is the 12,727 territory. If by any chance we do see a strong push back higher, then yes, as I said, at least a daily close above this 13,000 territory would be ideal. Now jumping into gold, and gold is stuck, and I've mentioned this one recently, so I was telling you guys to keep an eye on these two lines. So when basically it's the same idea that I've talked about yesterday, that as long as it remains between these two lines, we're not really doing much here. We're just sitting here and waiting until it's going to make a move, until it's going to make a break through one of those lines. If it does, let's say for example breaks the upside line here and then also falls below the 1877 territory, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers, and yep, further declines here could be possible. Now jumping into WTI oil, here, given that the dollar kind of weakened a little bit, we saw a bit of a push higher here, but this is what I was talking about yesterday in my morning video, guys. Basically what I was saying, that ignoring these potential little not potential, but ignoring these little kind of tails here of these daily candles, we could be seeing a possible bullish flag here, with a nice pole right here being the candle of the 14th of October. And yep, now you can see that this is exactly what's happening, and this is what I was mentioning, like I said, yesterday in my morning video. However, even if we do see this bullish flag here, still I would prefer to wait for a push above the this 41.46 barrier first, and then kind of consider a further move higher, but because such a move here would confirm a forthcoming higher high and more buyers could be joining in. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, I would need to see maybe now, I mean, previously I talked about this level 39.07, but given that we've moved a little bit more to the upside here, what I would like to see here at least is a drop below all of these EMAs here, maybe the 21-day EMA and the 100-day EMA, which, as you can see, both kind of are acting as good support areas or were acting as good support areas recently. So that's why, yeah, maybe a nice good daily candle remaining below both of these could do the trick for more sellers. But at the moment, I'm examining the upside here. But yeah, as I said, I need that confirmation break. Now Bitcoin, and Bitcoin had a nice push higher yesterday, so you can see here the crypto. The crypto moved above this key resistance barrier, this 11,740 zone. I talked about this yesterday, and last week also I mentioned that basically the idea for now is that we could see a bit of a correction here, which happened, and we could, if this area right here does provide good support, we could see a nice rebound to the upside back towards this 11,740 territory, and this worked out exactly like that. Now the next aim here is that we could see a potential move towards this 12,067 mark, which is the highest point of September. Now, what I was saying yesterday, that if we get a nice daily candle kind of staying slightly above it at least, then yes, it increases the chances for this crypto to move further north, and yep, we could see a possible test of this 12,067 territory. So keep your eyes on that one. Now jumping into a few pairs very quickly, guys. So Aud USD. So according to the economic calendar, we did get the RBA meeting minutes. You can check those out on the RBA website as well. So as you can see here, this pair continues to drift lower, and so far it's working out nicely according to the idea that I've mentioned last week, basically, where I was saying that if it starts falling back below the 0.7192 territory right here, then and also below the 21-day EMA, then yes, there is a potential for this one to move towards the 0.70 territory right here, roughly around here, which is near the lowest point of September. Now, at the moment, it's kind of going in that direction. I'm aiming for this territory still, and then I want to see actually what's going to happen here, because it might drop below this as well, but wait probably for that daily candle, because what I don't want to see here is a possible false breakout, and then kind of the daily candle reversing sharply to the to the upside and staying above it, and then basically it could be a game here for the bulls. So at the moment, from the very short-term perspective, yes, I'm aiming for the downside for this 0.70 territory, and but then, like I said, we need to see how the daily candle is going to end up being here. If it remains above it, then below it, then yes, we could start considering a potential move towards this 200-day EMA here, shown as the black line. But if it remains above this territory, below this 0.70 territory, then maybe a bit of a correction back up could be possible. USD CHF, quick update here. I talked about this one yesterday, and what I was saying, that wait for that confirmation break. So this is where I kept saying that always wait for that break, and this is one of those examples where you always should wait for that, and also you should probably just, if you're not very comfortable, wait for that daily candle to finish, because if we're near key resistance or support areas, wait for that daily candle to see what it's going to do, because if it would have pushed higher here above this 0.9163 territory, and then remained above it, then this could increase the pair's chances of moving further north here. But again, at the moment, that's, as you can see, they started reversing back down, but I'm not saying that this is where I'm gonna start looking at becoming bearish and all that, but I would prefer to wait for a drop below the 0.9073 territory first, and then aim for lower areas. At the moment, we're just stuck here, so we're just observing this pair. Quick update on Gbp and Zds. So look at this beautiful move. I talked about this one yesterday, and I was saying that wait for that pop above this 1.9645 territory before aiming for some higher levels. Now, one of my targets kind of got reached, this 200-day EMA, so that's great. Slightly above it, we do have the highest point, the current highest point of October, near the 1.9729 zone. But if that is just seen as a temporary obstacle on the pair's way higher, then yep, of course, the next target is this downside line taken from the high of the 16th of April. So let's keep an eye on that one. But at the moment, everything's looking quite positive here. So let's see how this is going to play out. Euro Aussie, look at this beautiful move finally, and the pair pops higher, breaks this range that it was trading in from around the beginning of June, to be honest. And look at this beautiful move here, and yep, that's what we're seeing. That's the strong move that we're getting right now, and continuation move north. So as I mentioned to you yesterday, before this breakout happened, saying that if it does push higher here, then my next target is the 1.6773. So for now, that's the as you can see, that's where it's heading to. So it has just a few pips left of reaching that area, or it has a few pips left in order to reach this area. So now again, I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. If it pushes further north, then of course we could start climbing slowly higher. Like for example, the next target here could be this 1.6893 territory, and then we could take it from there. But at the moment, I want to see how it's going to behave near the 1.6773 zone, and then I'll take it from there. I'll pick up on this one just to see what we could do with it further. But at the moment, if you're long on this one from here, then yep, congratulations, we're a very good move. Of course, you probably have already moved your stop loss to break even for this one, just in case this suddenly reverses back down. But if you haven't, just probably that's the best option to do right now, just to protect yourself in case this suddenly sharply falls back below this hurdle here. And then yeah, I mean, it would be worth nothing then, of course. But anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you had a good well, you saw this as a good opportunity as well. So congratulations to those who kind of entered the trade here. But now Euro USD. So here the pair is stuck, and again, I'm gonna stick to the same words that I've mentioned yesterday and last week as well, that in a way, as long as it remains between these two levels, we're not really gonna do much and just continue observing the price action. So the 1.1831 level on the upside, that's what I'm looking at. A nice good break and a daily candle remaining above it could in a way lead to some higher levels here. But if it falls back below this 1.1696 zone, then yep, that's where from where we could start looking at some lower areas again. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. The economic calendar, check out the economic calendar today, but to be honest, there's not much happening today apart from some data from the US, building permits and housing starts. So yeah, but keep your eyes on the political situation surrounding Brexit, and of course the whole kind of pre-election period in the US that could kind of bring a bit of volatility into the market. So yeah, guys, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and I'll see you later at my Traders Tea Time today, 13:15 GMT. For now, guys, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and bye for now.